Hit that like, bro, and subscribe, yo, you know, show your mastery in the
Topic of the day: bribes versus lobbying. Where is the limit? So bribes versus lobbying. What do you mean? What I mean, bribes versus lobbying. In your opinion, is it okay to pay a manager extra SVC from your own pockets, so your own money, in order to strike a deal for a player? For instance, if I'm a Napoli manager and I want Rodrigo from Real Madrid, I'll go to Gevenito and I say, hey, I pay 3x for Rodrigo value, which I don't have the money for, but anyway, and plus 1,000 SVC in your own pocket, because I can afford it, because I have a good payout. So I'm rich, relatively rich. Do you think it's fair or not? Let me know in the comment. Let's talk about this, because it's been the focus of this week, together with another big problem, I would say, but it's not a problem in my opinion, which is multi-account and moving players from club to club. Let's start with the bribes. What do you think? I want to know. Yes, because some players value more than 3x. Okay, Game Radagio makes a good point. He says, if a player is more than 3x, when we cannot play more than 3x, pay more than 3x, then we need to use our own SVC. The problem with this that I read in the community is that even if the player is more than 3x, the money, they don't go into the club, they go to the manager of the club. So you're not really paying more for the player, you're paying more for the transfer, if it makes sense to happen. And the money go to the manager and not to the club, as for now. There will be a method to inject SVC into your own club, which is not activated yet. Go look in my YouTube channel, which I put you the link in chat right now. It was described, this method. It's called fundraising. It will be enabled, and we will allow people to pay SVC. I mean, to send SVC into a club in order to accumulate more money to do transfers. So in that way, you could basically send SVC to a manager and then basically hope and make a deal and say, okay, those SVC has to be put into the club. For example, if I sell a player, is it possible here? Is because, okay, sorry. To be honest, King Teddy, it's all legal, so it's fine, but I personally wouldn't do it. It's exactly. This is another point perspective. If it's legal, it can be done. But what is legal in this type of game? Because this type of game, basically everything is legal. Nothing is illegal. There's no rule that says you cannot do it. It's not in the game plan or the game mechanics. Otherwise, there would be some sort of block. But it's not legal on legal. It's probably more an ethic problem, right? Victor, it's simple to pay for what you want. In that sense, give what you have to get what you want. It's true. So money talk. That's what also Hamburglar says all the time, and I agree. Money talks. Unfortunately, it's like the real world also work, even if we don't know it. This fulfills the criminal offense of embezzlement. Yes, embezzlement. I see your pineapple on pizza. That's exactly what it is. Read me Nickx, Ralek. For example, if I sell a player for $100, if I use it to make signings for that same team, yes. If not, no. So you mean that people are allowed to give SVC in the pockets of the manager, but the manager should reinvest those SVC into signings. But how? Because the money that you pay to me for selling you Mike Varacelia, they stays in my pocket. I cannot use it for the club for now. By buying the packages, you do injection. Okay. San Aaron, you're right. Sanks, the transfer value should be too high to sustain in SVC outside the game. You made a good point, Sanks. You made a good point. Because in reality, if I get more SVC, I can sell it for USDC dollars, and then I can pay the pack. That pack give cash in SVC injection to the club. So basically, if I buy the influence of my own club, I inject more more money into the club balance. So in a way, if you pay me in SVC, I can actually put some part of it into the club. That's true. That's a very good point, Sanks. Smart. If by buying a package, I'm a bit lag behind, but I read it all. If bringing a manager to gain an advantage in the transfer market is considered acceptable, what makes it different from bribing a manager to field a weaker team for an advantage in matches? Yeah, good point. This is a good point, actually. So, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. Because you're basically saying if we can bribe for transfer, we can also bribe for fixing a match. True. These things will happen, unfortunately, I believe. And in the long run, it will not happen anymore. When more money is involved, more people is involved, I believe it's going to self-heal somehow, because there is going to be more selection for the few places as managers. Only 5,000 managers in the game forever. So 5,000 is not a lot. Some NFT collections have 10,000 NFT, you know? So, and NFT is worthless. But while here we're playing a game, imagine this game reaching 10,000 players or 100,000 players. Only 5,000 will be managing positions. So there is going to be a high competition, and the influencers will need to select very closely. And you don't want to select people that can be bribed if you don't want. So I think this is all temporary, these problems. But you're right. You're right. Definitely right. If there is a rule against it, you can do it. I was offered 3x for Bazoo Toure. Toure rating is way more than what it should be. Everyone should be looking after themselves and their clubs. I rejected it as it was his age, and in his Rex review, he will cost more, and that helps the club in the long run. That's true. That's true. Come, you did right. You did right. You kept it because you know the future of the player. But some managers, they're reckless. Some managers just want to get money. So if they want to get money, they get bribed. They're bribable, if you want. And they might lose the young players because of they prefer SVC in their own pocket. That's why I'm reinforcing the point, in my opinion, that selection of the managers is the point here. You need to select the right manager. Let's hope it doesn't make managers go rag. It does make managers go rag, which is the fun. It's fun of the game. Luckily, we don't have referees in the game. Otherwise, the incentives would also be okay. Yeah, Soccerverse Portugal. Yes. Someone actually, so not about referees, but someone actually mentioned like a third person in between, like a chairman, like a, well, at the end of the day, it's kind of a referee of transfer. So imagine I'm Napoli, I want to sell Kvaratskhelia, but there is a chairman elected by the influencers of Napoli that says, no, you cannot sell it. Not the agent of Kvaratskhelia, but actually the agent is okay for me to sell it. The contract is set to sell. I'm hitting sell, transfer to Paris Saint-Germain, but the chairman of Napoli blocks it because he thinks that it's I got paid or something. So in my opinion, that doesn't work, because you can simply pay the chairman and that's it. You pay the you bribe the chairman and bribe Nickx. Things go just as it go now. So it doesn't make sense, in my opinion. People don't think the risk brings also they can get injured. Yeah, of course they can injure. Most of laws are immoral. It's a question of morale, and at the end of the day, by the way, read Akidral. Did I miss Akidral? What did he say, Akidral? Sorry. Akidral. If bringing a manager to gain an advantage... yes, I read it. He's right. Paying 3x and then separately sending USDT to the other person. Yeah, it's saying it's transaction. If you can't pay, look for affordable alternatives. Giovanito, money talks. Yeah, this is like Darwin evolution. If people will die, but this is also like a very bigger question of life. It's like communism versus capitalism or stuff like that. I mean, do you or even taxes? Do you advantage the richer people because they bring the more money, the more inflows, the more volumes, the more fees, or you want to help the low wage people? It's a little bit different here. I know, but it's very difficult. So it's a game, guys. It's not a worldwide issue. paying someone for a player, it's fine if you want to do it. You don't look for other alternatives. If you want to do it, you don't look for other alternatives. I agree. At the end of the day, you have to decide. You just need to be transparent. Game Randagio, you're right. You can use those SVC in your pocket to make another deal for another player. Yeah. 100%. The problem is the manager. It's not a problem. Like you said, Game Randagio said, I get paid 1,000 SVC for selling Kvaratskhelia. What do I do with that? I sell it for USDC and I go out with my girlfriend. I sell it for USDC and I buy more Napoli influence, becoming more important in Napoli, but also injecting new capital into my club balance, so making good for Napoli. Or third option, like Gamer Randagio said, it's a good point. I use the same SVC to bribe another manager. By the way, I'm saying bribing, but it's not the right word. Unless you think it's negative. It's like an incentive or basically lobbying, like a political party or something like that. It's a double-edged word. Yes, you just need to be transparent. It's a double-edged word. In my opinion, it's okay to bribe the benefit your own club. Problem is that is only possible if someone else is willing to sabotage their club. But H-Born, in my opinion, it's okay to bribe to benefit your own club. The problem is that only possible someone else is willing to sabotage their club. Yeah, well, it depends. It's you're right, but it depends on the other manager. Not all the bribes are for damaging a club. If I don't want to sell Kvaratskhelia, even if you give me 10,000 SVC, I don't sell it because I don't want. But if I don't know if I want to sell it or not. I'm like, I could, but I don't want to do it right now, but I could. And then it arrives 10,000 SVC in my pocket. I think, well, I would have probably sold him in 1 season or 2. I can get this cash in right now and do whatever for my club, like paying more USDC or just use the USDC to bribe other people. So you see, it's not that everyone does it and ruin their own club. They can even do good. It's just a manager thing. Selection, guys, selection. This game, you need to select. Chairman would be really cool, but AP9MC, chairman, it's another problem. It's like you add a third person in between, like a middleware, and then you have to trust this middleware as well. This is exactly what you don't want to do. It's even against the P2P blockchain ethos of this game. Me and Ralek, Gevenito and Goldsmith. If there is a third person in between these transfers, that's another attack point of attack, weak point. It's just bribing becomes more expensive, but it doesn't help. In my opinion, I might be wrong, guys. Just let's hear everyone talks and then we will have a look. Very nice discussion, guys. I like you a lot. You're very clever. Soccerverse people is very clever. I'm reading all your thoughts and are thoughts of people that of a certain brain, I'm gonna say level. I really see all of you very, very good players, guys. We have a very good players. It's the beginning of Soccerverse. So let's, it's very good. I like it. So no point in having it if not for personal gain. What do you mean? One pack in Barca is $16 and inject 8,000. So for 8 million, the bribe could be like 1,000 packs. Wow, that's a lot. You're right. So it doesn't make sense as of now because it's too expensive to buy packs. Morally, it could have worked, but if you make the math, it doesn't work. So probably the best thing is to use the USDC for bribing some other people, incentivize some other people, lobbying for other transfers. To me, as I said on Discord, those bribes force people to act in a way that wouldn't act if there weren't money involved. Yes, they're 100% Rosvorn. That's the whole point of adding incentives, I guess. If it is about a player who's not a valuable player, maybe yes, but shouldn't part of those SVC to go to club influencers too? Yes, it should, but the game doesn't have this kind of mechanism yet. I believe that when fundraising will be enabled, the SVC can go into the club. I don't know how. There might be a multiplier. Like if I put 1,000 SVC in the fundraising, does it reflect as 1,000 SVC more in the club balance? Because 1,000 is nothing. It's really nothing. It's one player week wage, a low player, like a 56 wage. So probably there will be like a multiplier. Like if I put 1,000 SVC, it becomes 1 million. 1 million is too much. Anyway, you get a point. In that case, the value goes back to the influencers, because if the club has more money, they can spend more for transfers, and hopefully if the manager is good, they win more and they become better, and there is more money to be shared amongst influencers. That's one way. The transfer bribing things is tough because it's selling for 3x the player's value. Doesn't make sense. Then something wrong with the player values. Alon Fox. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This 3x is temporary, by the way. It's just safety belt. Why jump my math? Why jump my math? Sorry. I didn't jump. Did I jump it? No. You're right. One pack in Barca. I read it. I'm just lagging because you guys are writing a lot, and it's good. The market will naturally sort itself. Givenito, I agree. That's why I'm for freedom. The market will naturally sort himself. If there are more buyers than sellers, there will be scarcity, and naturally sellers will want to capitalize on the demands and get as much benefit as possible. It's just like real life. It's if you played with NFTs a little bit in the crazy world of NFTs, you really get trained on how these things work. It's tough. It's tough life lessons in the NFT world, and a little bit applies to here as well with the listings of SVC for influence as well. It's not easy, this game. It's not for everyone. You can either play for free. You can play for free and have fun in a lower category. Nobody will bother you. But if you are on the top 5, or even in Brazil or in Argentina or somewhere big and important, people will spend money, and you're gonna have pressors. And so these things are important to discuss. P64 in Champions League. Why are there some countries with 2 clubs? Because Soccerverse is trying. It's basically it's not exactly like the real world. There are some crossovers, like for instance the names, the clubs, etc. But I really don't know why there are only 2 clubs. But it's already more than the beta, because in beta, if I'm not mistaken, there were only one, the winner of the leagues. If I'm not mistaken. No, yes. And now there are some country, there are two as well. So it's different. In this case, Champions League is different than the real life. It's just how the Soccerverse world is. It doesn't reflect perfectly the mechanism. I was also talking with Pisa manager yesterday about prizes. If you win Serie B, I think you win 2 millions, something like that. If you win Serie B in Italy and you graduate to Serie A, you win 2 millions. And he was saying it's too low. It's not like in real life. Real life is way more. And I said, yes, but this is not real life. This game is meant to be permissionless, trustless, and perpetual, forever, infinite. Nothing can ever stop it. Nothing. So it needs to balance out. All the economy needs to balance out. All the mechanism, who goes to Champions League, who doesn't go, has to balance out forever. So there are some trade-off. That's why. With time, there will be balance between sellers. Yes. Let's say I'm planning to sell player A already, and 5 other managers are interested to pay 3x for him. If someone pays me SVC privately to schedule listing him in auction, so they can immediately bid 3x, it benefits him without ordering my club. Good point. In that case, it's a way, like I think Sanks Elrond was saying, it's just a way of overtaking the 3x limit. 100%. If there are 3 people interested in a player and some offers more SVC, you just give him more value to the transfer. The only problem is that the SVC doesn't go into the club. It goes into your pocket for now. So that's only if the SVC, there was a mechanism to put the SVC extra into the club balance straight away, then I don't think this problem would, well, there is still people destroying clubs, but it would be a lesser of a problem. Alan Fox, however, I understand why some people are against it. Oh, of course, I also understand. I understand both. H-Born, I don't doubt that they are not actively trying to destroy the club, but when the bribes happen, they go for manager's personal gain. Hey, that's exactly what I was saying, yes. Would you offer SVC for a player to seal a deal? Yes, I would, 100%. I actually tried already. I never did it, not yet, I never did it successfully, but I already tried. I don't tell you with who, but I tried. And because I don't think it's a big deal, in my opinion, my personal opinion, which is, you know, you can think about it however you want. But yes, I tried to add SVC, but the person said no. So that's a good manager. If you're watching, you know I'm talking about you. And he actually replied, I want this player so bad for my Napoli. It was very expensive. But he said no. And then I said, okay, what if I give you also this amount of money? It was substantial, I think. It was like 1,000, 2,000 SVC, something like that, because I can afford it. The guy said no. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that he said no, even though he didn't want personal gains. Instead, he wanted to keep the player because the player is a very famous player. You know him. And he's going to be very good in the next update, because in real life he's playing very good. And so this manager is a good manager. It's someone that you don't have problem with. Ralek, almost at the end of the chat, and then we move to the next discussion point. There is a way to do it right. You leave the maximum 3x, and apart from that, if you want to pay an incentive, you could open a new way. Well, I mean, for example, I sell Lewandowski to Nickx. Nickx pays 3x, and apart from that, I ask for an incentive of 1,000 SVC. Okay, and those 1,000 SVC are not sent to me; they are sent to Barcelona. Why? How? You mean game, to add the game mechanics? Yes, when fundraising will be enabled. I would have gotten 1,000 extra SVC and I would not be benefiting, the club would be benefiting. This is a very good option which could be implemented, where SVC can be added to club. Yeah, Ralek, it's true. However, you cannot force me to do the right action. At the end of the day, it's all about players and managers and reputations and history and community. Because if we do like this and then I said, yeah, I put 1,000 SVC in Barcelona with true fundraising, then I don't do it. Bye-bye. Hi, Primity, just followed. Primity77, welcome, big boss. Welcome to the show. We are discussing, now it's roundtable time. You're right, that's a good, that's what will happen, but it doesn't solve the moral issue and other things. Love how you say that. Sam, what? What do I say? I don't know. Give me all your shares now. What do you mean? Krill, it's coming. Krill. You're a big boss. Tell us. We want to know what went on in your mind. You bought so many Barcelona influence. Let's have a look. Let me finish to read. Now we have a look, and then we have a look at what Krill did, because we also talk about stuck players in Africa. A lot of players are stuck somewhere in weird clubs, and people were saying, can I get them or not? We'll talk about that. Kev, the problem now is that even investing a lot of money, you can't win too much money, maybe in the future, but we need new players. Yeah, they're coming. Players are increasing, guys. Even if you don't see, because not many people are active in Discord, but the numbers speak pretty clearly. They're coming. And will be many people joining. See, they cannot manage it because all the clubs are taken. Oh, yes, but this game is partly, it's a part of it. Remember, if you look at my YouTube channel, let me put another link in the chat. I published the latest Andy Gore interview where he clearly says the phases We are in phase 1 now. Second phase would be more of a trading exercise. Now it's managing, but once the clubs are gone, because everyone is managing a club, there are no more jobs available. Then it's going to be a power game and a strategic game of people buying, selling influence to make things good, to get more returns. I want the Barcelona to lose, so I'm going to boost Real Madrid, something like that. So it's not only a soccer management game, because like you said, it's limited places, only 5,000 something. It's also a strategic economic game. And this will become clearer in phase 2. I'm about to sell a player that I now will instant sell. Only reason I would announce it beforehand is to get those sweet SVC offer. Why not? It's a strategy. He said no, simply because he doesn't want to sell, not for moral reason. De Gevenito, you said my example. Yes, but moral reason, even if he doesn't, why doesn't want to sell? Even if I paid him like good money, he doesn't want to sell. So if money talks, in this case didn't talk. So it's a kind of a moral thing. Because if I wanted just to get money, even if I don't want to sell and I get money, I will sell if I'm a person like that. So he did it because he liked the game and he wants the game to succeed, his club to succeed, and he knows his stuff. He knows that player will become very big, and he didn't sell. So yeah, he didn't want to sell, but the why is the question. In my opinion, is moral, because he didn't accept the money. He wants to win, so it's good. He said, no, blah, blah, blah. I'm waiting the multi-account to start the domino effect next season in the transfer window. I've offered $50, $100 to some managers, and most managers have not accepted. This is a good. See? Same. I did the same. Most managers don't accept because the managers are good. Yeah, but if you want to attract big audience, they want to manage a club, not trading, in my opinion. It depends what kind of audience. But you're right. At the end of the day, there are still a lot of positions available. But if they want to manage, then they can make the case. For instance, Football Manager. Okay, this year Football Manager is not out. 25 is not out. There are a lot of people playing Football Manager or Soccer Manager. If someone comes to my Napoli and says, I have a lot of experience in gaming, soccer management game, I'm a very big fan of Napoli, I am actually watch Napoli all the time, etc., etc., I'm very good. Maybe I would, if he buys enough influence and I see that he cares for Napoli, I might give him a chance. I have a lot of influence in Napoli, so I can put him in, trial him, and then replace him. So the game is dynamic. It's not fixed. These managers will go out. Influencers will sack managers if they don't go well. So there are opportunities. It's not like 5,000 managers fixed forever. It's not like that. I've been offered and said no because I have 4 competition and need a very player. But once I'm ready to sell, I will take the best offer. Yeah, you see? Maybe we want to report on this too for other discussion in your stream. Yes, actually, any help is welcome here. We can have roundtables like this with reports as well. Why not? I mean, if someone has reports, data, it's good. In fact, one day I'll ask Hamburger to manage Inter. He's already managing Inter. A lot of new managers. Yes, there are new managers. I don't know how many new, but there are. In fact, okay, guys. Okay, let's move. Very, very interesting discussion here, guys. Thank you so much. The general input is mixed. We will never find a discussion truth, but it's nice that, in my opinion, based on what we just discussed, what in my opinion it emerged is that, in my opinion, I said it like 10 times, but it's mostly due diligence at the end of the day, because fundraising apparently might alleviate this issue because you can tell people to put SVC into the club and not into my pockets. But until that point, it really boils down to influencers' due diligence and making sure that the managers they hire is a good one in a way, and it's not bribable. Even though we saw that bribes or incentives can be good. Interesting. Let's move.
Soccerverse love. Hit the bell, push subscribe, and enjoy the show. Making the transfers break. Hit the bell, push subscribe, and enjoy the show. Tab treat the John, she then drink.